This is an Ordro branded LN-5 infrared night vision light. So it looks a lot like a normal camera fill light, but instead of normal LEDs, it uses infrared LEDs. So in the box we have the light, we have the cable, and we have the instruction booklet. Now I was given this to review for free. If you wanted to purchase it, it would cost you $30. I was not paid for my review, and my opinions remain my own. So there's a little protective plastic cover here. It has a USB-C charging port right there. It includes a USB-A to C cable for charging. It says DC in 5 volts. It doesn't say what amperage it wants. And it basically has two functions. It has the on-off button here, so when you turn it on, it'll show you 2 out of 4 dots, so it came half charged from the factory. And it may not look like it's on, so you might need to use those to tell it's on. If you look very carefully inside those LEDs, there's tiny red dots which indicate they're on. So if I turn it to dim, if you turn it this way, it goes to dim. If you turn it up, it goes to full brightness. And here I can see the red dots on those LEDs. You may not be able to see it because this camera is not terribly infrared sensitive. It actually has a piece of glass blocking infrared light, because infrared light makes your pictures look a little reddish. Now I do have a camera that is infrared sensitive, and so I'll switch over to that infrared sensitive camera, which has a big zoom lens on it. And you can see that when I put this guy in front of it, you can see it's illuminating things in the infrared. It's very bright. It washes out the camera when you point it at it. You can play around with the dimming, going up and down and so forth. So, you know, this guy's definitely putting out infrared light. Now, function-wise, it has a 1/4x20 tripod import there, and it also has a cold shoe kind of slot here, so you can slide that into your camera, turn this down to lock it in place, and you're locked in place. It also has receptacles for 3 cold shoes here, so you could conceptually have multiple lights or accessories daisy-chained off of this guy if you needed to. So I am going to run this all the way down, and then I'm going to charge it back up, and we will see how much power it takes to charge, and that'll give us a good idea about the battery capacity inside of it. All right, things I've learned by reading the manual. It claims to have a 2.2 amp hour battery, or 2200 milliamp hour battery. The input charging is 5 volts at 1 amp. It says maximum power consumption is 6.5 watts, and it has 56 lights. It says at the highest brilliance it has about 90 minutes of runtime, and the charging time will take, it says here, more than or equal to 4 hours. It also says you turn this guy that way to make it bright, you turn it this guy to make it dim, and if you push and hold, it'll switch to the brightest light setting. So, or you can just turn it right all the way. It has 4 dots, it's currently down to 1 dot, and I have it turned up to bright, and we're just going to let this thing run until it turns off. Alright, this guy ran all the way down. I've plugged it into a USB-C power delivery cable here, and it did negotiate correctly with USB-C power delivery, so it'll work with the supplied USB-A to C cable or a USB-C power delivery cable. It is drawing just about exactly 1 amp and charging at 5 watts. This guy's fully charged, 4 dots, drawing 0 amps, and it took 9 watt hours, and at 5 volts that was 2 milliamp hours, so that's pretty equivalent to a 2.2 milliamp hour battery at 3.7 volts. So we're going to say that their battery claims here are pretty reasonable. I took this guy outside at night last night. My outdoor security camera is very infrared sensitive, and so you can see me walking around the yard shining this light around. I also pointed it at the camera, dropped it down to its minimum brightness setting, and then ramped it back up to its brightest brightness setting. So it is basically an IR flashlight. It's a pretty wide field. So if you have a camera that is shooting an infrared light, you know, you're doing wildlife photography at night or something like that, this guy definitely lights up an area. It's not a super long throw spotlight. It's more of a fill light, you know, within the close field, but it definitely puts out infrared light. And it also does a very good job of not projecting visible light. So when it's on at night, you can see a faint red checkerboard effect because each of these lights kind of lights up with a small red glow. It's not very noticeable at all. If it's not pointing at you, you can't tell there's light coming out of it. So it's pretty good at not making light that is near infrared. It's all infrared light for the most part that comes out of it.